A good evening to you. Welcome to Hope TV Newswatch. It's my pleasure as I bring you news that made headlines today together with Boniface Muredi. My name is Melissa Oduor. Newswatch begins now. Now, the government is set to distribute new textbooks for grade 9 learners as part of a broader effort to maintain a 1-to-1 textbook-to-learner ratio in schools nationwide. Speaking today during the launch of the distribution exercise at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba announced that the ministry will procure 1 million copies of learners' books and 24,000 teachers' guides for various subjects. Our reporter Kennedy Kimani begins our bulletin tonight.
All is set for grade 9 as learners are set to receive new textbooks as part of the government's ongoing effort to maintain a 1-on-1 textbook-to-learner ratio in schools. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba has announced that the ministry will procure 1 million copies of learners' books and 24,000 teachers' guides for various subjects.
For the launch of the distribution exercise of textbooks for grade 9 and those for rationalized learning areas for grade 6, 1 to 6, which is going to be done to all Kenyan schools, which is in an effort to maintain our policy of the 1-to-1 textbook-to-learner ratio. This is a recognition of the fact that the curriculum support materials are an essential component in any learning environment. They comprise the core tools used in teaching learning context to assist the learners to acquire the intended knowledge, skills, and attitudes, and thereby to develop the required competencies.
The CS has also emphasized that schools should report any discrepancies in book deliveries to sub-county education offices. Ogamba has at the same time reiterated that only KICD-approved books should be used as they are specifically designed to support the delivery of the curriculum.
Of textbooks to schools has been an annual event since the inception of the competency-based curriculum. The Ministry of Education has diligently over the years distributed the CBC textbooks for learners in grades 1 to 8 to ensure that the policy of 1-to-1 book for every learner is met. This is testimony that the government is committed to ensure that all learners have adequate teaching and learning materials.
CS Ogamba has urged schools to make full use of the textbooks provided and reassured stakeholders that the ministry, in collaboration with KICD, is working to finalize curriculum designs for grade 10.
I also reiterate the expectation that both public and private schools should use only the books that have been approved by KICD. These books have been assessed for suitability to help the teacher deliver the curriculum as envisaged. The listing of approved materials and all curriculum designs for all the learning areas subjects are up to grade 9 are available on the KICD website. As I conclude, I urge all schools to maintain and make maximum use of the textbooks that will be supplied to them. I am also aware that the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development has had an engagement with stakeholders pertaining to grade 10 curriculum designs. Upon the finalization of these designs, the ministry will ensure relevant books are developed, evaluated for approval, and fine-tuned in preparation for use in our senior schools in an efficient and timely manner.
The distribution of textbooks has been an annual event since the introduction of the competency-based curriculum, with the ministry committed to ensuring that all learners from grades 1 to 9 have access to the appropriate learning materials. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kennedy, for that report. Now, a majority of Kenyans feel the country has not done enough to recognize and honor its national heroes and heroines. According to the latest survey released today by Infotrack Research and Consulting, there is need to celebrate more contemporary figures. And this is Kenyans have rated Gen Z youth Azimio leader Raila Odinga and World Marathon title holder Faith Kipyegon as their top 3 heroes and heroines in 2024. Teresia Njenga with that report.
Gen Z youth have been hailed as the biggest drivers of change in Kenya with environmental activism and social justice efforts, making them emerging national heroes. Respondents in the research conducted between September 27th and the 28th gave Gen Zs a 26% approval of most influential figures in the country, followed by Azimio leader Raila Odinga at 18% and marathon holder Faith Kipyegon at 11%. Raila was recognized as a hero for his lifelong dedication to reforms and democracy. Raila enjoys strong support across Nyanza 30%, Western at 23%, and Coast at 22%, underscores his lasting influence on Kenyan politics. Meanwhile, Faith Kipyegon is considered one of the greatest 1,500 meters athletes the world has ever seen, particularly after winning her 3rd consecutive Olympic gold in Paris.
And she's stretching away here. Faith Kipyegon's going very, very quickly here.
Youthful politician Babu Owino earned 8% national recognition for his engagement with youth and activism, especially strong in Nairobi and Nyanza. The research was conducted by Infotrack Research and Consulting, dubbed Infotrack Heroes Report. Respondents also gave Raila a 27% rating as a person whose actions and opinions strongly influence the course of events, shaping people's views, perceptions, and even behaviors. He is followed by President William Ruto at 7%. Meanwhile, younger respondents, especially the 18 to 26 age group, want more contemporary figures celebrated, with 56% saying not enough is being done to honor today's heroes. Nairobi respondents were the most likely to feel that the country had done enough, with 42% agreeing that heroes were being adequately celebrated. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Tess Njenga.
Recognized. Thank you, Teresia, for that story. Now, a 3-judge bench in the impeachment case against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has obtained a win in a case that sought to question whether Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu was in order to assign them to hear the case. Gachagua, through his team of advocates led by Senior Counsel Paul Mwite, had argued that the only person who has the capacity to impanel a bench is the Chief Justice. And the team had also sought to find out at what point the file came from the Kerugoya High Court at 4 p.m. Saturday for the Deputy Chief Justice to appoint Justices Anthony Mrima, Eric Ogola and Frida Mugambi to rule whether the DCJ is legally mandated to constitute a bench to listen to the matter. However, the judges have ruled that the Deputy Chief Justice can assign judges whenever she is discharging administrative issues, and especially when the Chief Justice has not raised objections. The judges also dismissed arguments that it convened unconventionally on Saturday to invite parties for an inter-parties hearing on Tuesday, noting that the electronic case tracking system, CTS, allows for seamless handling of urgent matters and that lawyers are well aware of the practice.
To say that the decision in Leina Conchela also dealt with the definitions and various types of deputies and ultimately rendered itself in the following manner. I think this one I should quote. Paragraph 77, it says, it has been canvassed before us that where the Constitution intends the Deputy Chief Justice to act on behalf of the Chief Justice, it has expressly stated so. Specific examples cited were Articles 141.1, 144.4, 148.4. These provisions fall under Chapter 9 of the Constitution that deals with the executive. This chapter does not have a general provision as regards the deputization of the Chief Justice by the Deputy Chief Justice, as is provided for in Article 161 2b in Chapter 10 of the Constitution on the Judiciary. Hence, the provision of the deputization of the Chief Justice in Chapter number 9. A holistic and purposeful interpretation of Article 161 2b of the Constitution and Section 5 of the Judicial Service Act leads us to the conclusion that the Deputy Chief Justice substitutes the Chief Justice where necessary, end of quote. In the end, the learned judges found and held that the constitutional function of the Honorable Chief Justice to assign the benches under Article 165 for the Constitution, being an administrative function, can be performed by the DCJ when the DCJ is for good reason unable to perform this function. On our part, we have carefully addressed our minds to the issue. We find that there was a deliberate scheme by the drafters of the Constitution for the Honorable DCJ to deputize the Honorable CJ as Deputy Head of the Judiciary and as the Vice President of the Supreme Court, but not in the JSC.
And the Law Society of Kenya, LSK, has demanded investigations into the abduction and killing of a Jia member of County Assembly, Yusuf Ahmed, whose mutilated body was found in Lake Yahud. LSK President Faith Odhiambo has in a statement urged the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to conduct investigations aimed at apprehending and prosecuting suspects linked to the killing. The MCA had been missing since mid-September, with his family saying he had been abducted in Nairobi's South Sea estate. His mutilated body was identified on Monday. The family revealed that the body had signs of extensive burns and torture, and severe torture and ruthless beating. The lawyer's body has assured that justice will be served, noting that extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances must not be tolerated in a country that upholds constitutionalism and human rights. And Kenya and Somalia have officially endorsed the establishment of the new African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia, AUSOM, set to begin in January 2025. The mission will replace the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, to continue in efforts to stabilize the region and build on previous achievements. In a joint statement issued at State House, Nairobi, President William Ruto and his Somalia counterpart, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, stressed the importance of a seamless transition from ATMIS to AUSOM and urged for adequate funding for the new mission, encouraging the exploration of all financial options to support its operations. President Sheikh praised Kenya's contribution to stabilizing Somalia, particularly highlighting the Kenya Defense Force's role in combating terrorism alongside Somalia security forces and other ATMIS troops. Our first short break here on Hope TV News. Watch more news items are lined up for you after these messages.
Rafiki soul is the promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul is a promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond watangaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki msoul.
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
This week on Hope Devotion.
The Bible says, Jesus said that in the last days, there will come a people that will be ungrateful. So having the gift of gratitude is a plus. It makes us stand out.
Join Minister John Blessing as he shares the Word of God on the topic, The Gift of God, Defined Gratitude.
When I look at everything, I can only see one constant factor. And that one constant factor, he says, is the goodness of God. God himself says, come to my gates. And when you come, don't come minus gratitude. In other words, what will unlock that gate is your gratitude, not your petition.
Start your day with Hope every morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Hope TV. Look and live.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It will just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
I'm back. Now, over 700 students and teachers at the Thogoto Model Primary School in Kenya's Kiambu County will benefit from fresh vegetables and fruits plucked from their new kitchen garden and orchard established with the support of the Air France KLM Airlines. The initiative is part of Air France KLM's social enterprise, which aims at creating a platform for students to gain knowledge on food production and environmental conservation while providing them with access to highly nutritious food. The airline group aims to empower the school to feed its students by supporting it in establishing its own food production hub and forest. In the project, Air France KLM partnered with the Amity Alliance, a social enterprise that works to foster environmental education. This as the country continues to establish the school feeding programs to alleviate Kenya's malnutrition challenge, with the Ministry of Health stating that nearly 18% of children under the age of 5 are stunted. To some regional news now, several hundreds of protesters have besieged the presidential palace in Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka, demanding the resignation of President Mohamud Shahabuddin over his recent remarks about former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's resignation. The anti-discrimination student movement, the Bangladesh Students' Body, that led the nationwide agitation for a few months back, leading to the ouster of Sheikh Hasina's government, has issued an ultimatum to the new interim government that led by Nobel laureate Mohamud Yunus. The students have raised 5 key demands, including the removal of President Shahabuddin and the abolition of the 1972 constitution by the end of this week, failure by which they will begin further agitation. Some journalists and a few protesters were among those injured during a clash as joint law enforcers tried to block a group of protesters from entering the president's palace called the Bangababan on Tuesday while they were demanding the resignation of the president. Today is celebrating 24 years of connecting and transforming lives of Kenyans since its official launch on the 23rd of October 2000. As part of the celebrations themed 24 years of transforming lives, celebrating through service, Safaricom will be showing appreciation to its customers through a variety of service and product offerings across the country. Peter Ndegwa, the CEO at Safaricom, thanked the technology company's loyal customers for walking the journey that has seen the firm grow from a telco to a cornerstone of innovation, empowerment and progress in Kenya over the last 2 decades. Safaricom has also played a crucial role in enhancing network connectivity, evolving from its initial 2G services to the current 5G network, which offers unparalleled internet speeds and capabilities thus is enabling Kenyan to embrace emerging technologies, positioning the country at the forefront of the global digital economy.
So today we are very happy as a Safaricom community, more than 6,000 employees, celebrating Safaricom turning 24. So today, which is the 23rd of October 2024, Safaricom has turned 24. 24 is a very big milestone. Next year we are going to be celebrating our Silver Jubilee. We are very happy to send all our employees around the country to celebrate with customers. I'm here as CEO of Safaricom at Junction Shop. I've just cut the cake with customers. Customers were very happy. I rewarded them with airtime, with other gifts that they can take home, whether that is unga, sukari, and so on and so forth. And it is a moment to reward our customers for their loyalty, for being patient with us, for always being with us. But also it's a way of celebrating the many years that we have been transforming lives. Safaricom is known for transforming lives, whether it's in the way we support this country on supporting Kenyan passion points, in sports, in music, whether it is how our foundation support community in healthcare, in education, in economic empowerment, or even in the way that we keep the country connected, providing connectivity. We have 4G everywhere. Now we have 5G in 1,100 sites. At the end of this year, we are going to have 5G in 1,800 sites. So we are celebrating connecting Kenyans, enabling Kenyans live better, and really showcasing a brand that has been all about Kenyans. So it's about celebrating life.
And unemployed youth in Kisumu have hailed the launch of the Yego taxi hailing app, which has now kicked its operations in the lakeside city. The youth say the operations of the transport system will create more employment opportunities for the many jobless youth in the county, hence enabling them get gainful employment. They have meanwhile decried the high cases of insecurity in the region and lauded the app for its security features that secure both the driver and the passengers.
This is an opportunity. I encourage people, I encourage others to come and join it. It's an employment opportunity.
Kisumu kuna insecurity. Na inatakikana ukienda ukipeleka client unakuwa safe, ukifika mahali unakuwa safe, lakini hakuna mahali safe sahi. Sasa inatakikana unakuwa na mahali ukifika kama kuna itilafu ingine unaweza finya alarm na unasaidiwa kwa haraka.
So we have a security feature as well as an SOS feature built in. So the security feature allows you to automatically send your ride details and the ability to live track your details to 5 of your chosen contacts automatically with every trip. You also, in addition to that, have the SOS button. Plus, we are also monitoring your trip from the back end to see if there is anything which is different than what you had intended. So if the route changes suddenly or there is a long stoppage, we automatically call you, the passenger, and we also speak to the driver.
To sports news now. All 9 Football Kenya Federation FKF presidential candidates are preparing for a heated debate ahead of the elections on the 7th of December. The debate will take place at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, Kwea, on Friday this week from 6 p.m. Candidates invited to the debate include Doris Petra, the vice president of FKF, who was promoted to run for the top job, Barry Otieno, Chris Samimo, Sami Owino, Sami Nyamwea, Sam Ochola, Hussein Mohammed, Doris Petra herself, Cleopas Shimanyula, and Tom Alila. The debate is targeting to reach up to 20 million Kenyans and will address critical topics including the development of youth talent, funding for grassroots football, integrity in football governance, and public-private partnerships in advancing the sport. Now, at the risk of poverty in retirement, majority of Kenyans intend to retire after hitting 60 years. After retirement, one would want to have a good lifestyle. However, this may be impossible as several Kenyans are not well prepared for retirement or not ready to think about preparing for it. What is even worrying is that a huge chunk of the youth is not enrolled in any individual pension schemes. This means that the threat of old age poverty is growing rapidly. I will leave you with this report by Alice Diana on the level of preparedness among Kenyans for their sunset years. My name is Melissa Oduor. On the sign language has been Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night.
According to Retirement Benefits Authority (RBA), the current pension coverage of the working age between 15 to 64 years in Kenya is at 26%. This means that 74% of Kenyans are not enrolled in any pension scheme. Therefore, majority of Kenyans across all age groups are poor savers. Kenya National Bureau of Statistics (KNBS) data shows that 87% of the workforce are in the informal sector, the majority of whom are not members of a retirement benefits scheme. Now, experts estimate that a retired person requires up to 60% of their former salary per month to maintain their living standards. However, majority of Kenyans will have to hustle for the rest of their lives to support their lifestyles because they lack a pension plan.
Nataka kukua nayo nikishaacha kazi ya kupodoa, maisha ya kuzunguka dunia. Nataka kutembea, nijue kila mahali, nione kila kitu.
Like most people, personally I would like to have a beautiful life, a stable life, a life that even if I not be maybe going to job, but I can still cater for my needs.
Of course, a luxurious life.
Even as many Kenyans desire to have a good lifestyle in their sunset years, the question is, have they started to save towards this future? And if not, what is preventing them?
Personally not, but I'm thinking of starting soon. What has been preventing me? Because as I say, I'm an entrepreneur, I've been still setting up my business and also my brand. And you find all the energy I've been putting onto establishing this business so that I can have at least a muscle to stand.
But our company usually helps us to save through NSSF.
Kwa savings bado sijaanza. Mimi ni Gen Z, nikipata pesa kidogo kanyama choma, kasmucha. Mimi ni mdogo, nda save kwa nini? Save nikifika around 35, 40. After all, wanasemanga life begins at 40. Sasa hapo ndio mimi nitaanza.
Even though Peris Kageha, who is a self-employed makeup artist, and Nelson Hagai, who is an entrepreneur, plan to start saving for retirement later, Victor Ndago, pension supervisor at Orient Life Assurance Limited, explains that saving should start immediately one receives their first income.
People think that retirement is for the old. Retirement is not for the old. It is for you and what you want in future. So I will advise the young generation, me included, that the best time for you to start saving for your retirement is when you get your first salary. The reason why I'm saying this is that when you start saving for your salary, for your retirement, you accumulate a lot of funds, and at the same time you don't have that pressure to save for more within a shorter period.
Ndago is advising those in the informal sector and those whose employers do not have a pension arrangement to try and save at least 10% of what they earn towards retirement.
Not all employers have pension arrangement apart from NSSF, which is compulsory for any person who is employed. Now, lucky to them that have employers who have already have a well-established scheme. That will depend on what has been outlined by the employer in the rules and regulations that runs that scheme. Even that border person, I had an opportunity the other day speaking to one of the border guys. He told me that in Nairobi, they do like after all the expenses, he gets like 2,000 to 2,500. I want to ask, let me ask you, seriously, can you use 2,500 on a daily basis? Definitely once you have had your expenses, you can even decide that besides what you are going to use for family upkeep, just put aside 500 shillings. Imagine you putting 500 shillings in a day. In a month, let's say times 20 days because of the weekend, that gives you 10,000. 10,000 in a month is something that is of value. Imagine you doing that for the next 20 or 30 years. It will be something that will help you for near future. So I'm advising those who are in the informal sector, irrespective of the job that they do, they have that capability, or even doing at least 10% of what they are getting.
60-year-old Anthony Kamau, who retired at the age of 47, tells me that he has been able to sustain his living standards since he left formal employment because he was able to save towards his retirement through a pension scheme.
Retirement, maisha imekuwa ni kujipanga. Kwa sababu ukishatoka formal employment, ukiingia informal employment upati kazi na huelewi. Hiyo pesa imenisaidia sana. Hiyo pesa nilikuwa na save kwa hiyo scheme.
Unlike Anthony Kamau, 72-year-old Michael Njau, who used to do masonry work before he retired, tells me that his retirement life is not that easy. Njau regrets starting to save for his old age when he was about to stop working.
Kwa ningejua, ningeanza mapema. Lakini shida tu ni masomo ya watoto. Ndio ilikuwa inaleta shida. Unakosa kusevu, unataka kusevu lakini mkono wanaweka kama shule. Sasa mambo ya kusevu inakosa kwa sababu yote inaelekea kule. Nategemea tu shamba. Unajua sasa nikiingia kwa shamba ile kidogo nimesave, kwenda natoa, naingiza kwa shamba, napeana kibarua, masao ikipatikana nauza, naona ni kiasi gani tutaweza kutuma kwa banki.
Although we have 1,027 pension schemes in the country currently, where both the formal and informal employees can join, some Kenyans are not aware of these schemes, and for those who know, the perception is that such an arrangement is only for those who are gainfully employed.
Sijasikia pension scheme yoyote kwa Kenya, lakini kwa savings nimesikia savings zile za bank tu, kienda kwa bank unaadvaisiwa savings account instead of normal account.
The Acting Director for Research, Strategy and Planning at Retirement Benefits Authority RBA, Lazarus Keizi, and Orient Life Assurance Limited Pension Supervisor Victor Ndago tells us how their companies are creating awareness among Kenyans on the need for saving for retirement.
The key activities we are undertaking is that awareness and education through mainstream media, through social media and public engagement. Workplaces, our colleagues from market conduct, they go to workplaces to talk to individual employers, associations to do that. We go even to universities and colleges to talk to students so that they need to prepare for their retirement. We also have feedback mechanisms through surveys, which we look at to come up with a messaging that requires to go outside there. Then we have regular reporting on the industry statistics.
We've gone to different TV stations to make sure that our viewers, and even to the radio stations to make sure that our viewers, the people, listen to this information. At the same time, we have a website that people can reach to us, and they can also get that information.
Keizi outlines the retirement plans that exists in Kenya.
Schemes that exist, we have three. Number one, we have occupational retirement benefits schemes. These ones are established by employers. Then we have individual retirement benefit schemes. These ones are really established by insurance firms and or any other person who establishes it for that purpose of business. Then we have the statutory scheme, which is NSSF. And the NSSF, within NSSF, we have other schemes which are individual. But allow me to tell you this, In the occupation, we have an emergency of umbrella schemes where several employers are joining certain schemes. They come together, amalgamate into one. We call them umbrella schemes. These schemes, in most cases, they are administered by one administrator.
One of the reasons why Kenyans shy away from saving for pension is that their money could get lost should they not reach the retirement age. Lazarus KZ explains what happens in such circumstances.
According to our regulation, each contributing member is supposed to elect beneficiaries. So when you elect beneficiaries, those beneficiaries are the ones that will be conducted and they'll be given your money. The other element, again, you need to know if for example, you have saved and your beneficiaries who are close to you, the next of kin, by the time the other legal matters will be going, trustees will pay you within the 30 days. They'll pay your beneficiaries within the 30 days, so long as you have done the nomination well. We have had cases where people are disregarding their next of kin and they nominate their girlfriends. Trustees have a role to ensure that the rightful beneficiary is paid through vetting.
Apart from having enough money to maintain your lifestyle after retirement, the Acting Director for Research, Strategy and Planning at RBA, Lazarus KZ, explains other benefits of joining a pension scheme.
In your mattress, anytime you fall broke, or you are broke, or you've seen a good design of shoes or clothes, you want to take it to go and buy, saying I'll replace tomorrow. Now when you save through a scheme, we have those tax rebates, where if you are working, the first 20,000 in your earning, you don't pay tax on it. The second thing, you are actually planning for your retirement. You know, those people who fail to plan, they are a planning failure. The money grows. There's that compounding effect. You know, interest will add on the principal and the money grows. By the time you are retired, you will retire with a good amount of money.
For future benefits, Kenyans, especially the young generation, ought to begin now to save and plan for their old age, lest time catches up with them. Early preparation will help avert a future pressure that can leave one poor or desperate over financial stability.
If you are using your youth by consuming everything that you get, you will cry in old age. You will even try to cry, you will cry to the children, and you will be futile. Hakuna usaidizi.
Retirement is inevitable, and at one point in time, you will have to get out of active work and you now go and retire. At the point you retire, you need funds to cushion you for the future as long as you live.
For Hope TV,
okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm Alice Diana.